Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of Scion of the Dark House, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Gothic horror podcast. Because it is Gothic horror, we are going to tackle subject matter that might come up to a line for some people, such as talk about trauma and abuse, violence, blood, gore, child endangerment, body horror, and other such things. So if there is anything that comes up to a line for you, please take a break. Your support means a lot to us, but so does your mental health. So where we last left off, you all managed to make your way into the realm of Granther, the Garden of Regret, and the birthplace of Lark. After introducing them to his brand new home, Lark decided to guide them to the place where Granther was most likely to be, near the center of the garden. They were then attacked by redcaps, each of which committed horrible acts of violence, swinging their scythe and kicking the party members, until finally Granther intervened, disintegrating one of them and sending the rest of them fleeing. He introduced himself and reunited with Lark before finally telling him that he has a brand new sister. This being odd news, they decided to check out the plant to find that it had grown a gigantic flower, far larger than ones that Lark and his siblings were born in. They then decided to find out who was under the flower and why it was producing another bloom now. They found the corpse underneath the flower to be King Gothric, the first king of Gothia, which was much a shock to Percy, who previously believed him to be buried in the Grand Cathedral in mourning, but instead found his body here, barely 6 feet under the dirt. There was much discussion and much argument over some of the valuables, such as the crown that was left on his body, before Granther finally managed to get a word in edgewise and say that the new sister was named Panic. So, the four of you are still in the garden. At this point, Granther has probably walked away to start doing other work somewhere else in the garden, burying more bodies or making sure that the bodies weren't decaying too quickly. And you all are left near the mostly unburied corpse of King Gothric, still in the midst of your discussion. What would you all like to do?
I mean, can we cover up the gross old rotting 1,000-year-old king? But pretty please.
I'll mold earth to rebury him.
Thank you.
Just some.
Yeah.
So you want to find your sister now? Is how do we do that?
Well, I mean, I doubt she'll be very hard to miss if she's over 6 feet tall with claws, fangs, and giant dragonfly wings. Not exactly common in these parts.
Has anything that we've come across been able to be described as common?
I mean, for the Feywild, relative. It's all relative in general, but I don't know. I suppose a Seelie Archfey wandering into a hag domain and bringing daytime for the first time in generations probably wasn't common.
Yeah, a bit weird.
Yeah. Everything else, though, par for the course.
Right. So we just wander around until we stumble across your giant sister?
Well, I mean, we have a cat.
I was just going to say, perhaps if her scent is anything similar to Lark's, I might be able to have Jasmine pick up on something. I mean, actually, we have the flower she was born from.
And if she's as fresh as Granther says she is, she probably still has some juice on her. Like motions to all the ichor that's seeping out of the flower.
Yeah, it's pretty ripe.
Ours didn't smell quite like this either.
I'm sure you smelled delightful, he said pretty sarcastically. So yeah, above game, try to keen smell something.
Yeah, you can keen smell.
Doop a doop doop doop. That'll be a 24.
Oh. Yeah, there is a scent that is picked up. And it moves through towards the shed. And then it seems to take off into the air, and it becomes incredibly hard to follow. You can find where she leapt from the ground and flew away, but it's pretty hard to follow the scent that's been in the air, and the wind possibly blew the higher up scent away. And it's hard to tell if perhaps, knowing the way that the Feywild works, it's possible she crossed a border and the kingdom then moved, which would make it incredibly hard to track.
Okay, well then Arthur will relay that to the group. So the furthest Jasmine can track anything is, and he'll like point to the shed area over that way, partially because, I mean, she can fly, and also partially because of this ridiculous fairy world nonsense. So you gentlemen want to see what's behind door number 1?
Sounds like it's probably our only option, so.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying, to the shed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, before we go in, can I use a potion of greater healing on Jazz?
Yes,
Okay,
you
let
may.
me take it out of my inventory so I remember. Potion of, oh, that's my last one. Balls. Okay, I need 4d4.
If you want, Percy, you can just use a cure wounds.
Yeah, I already rolled the dice.
Okay.
Okay, so that gave her 13 back. That's pretty good, actually. She's almost up to full. Besides, I've been holding on to that potion for like, I don't even know how many episodes. I never get hit. Like, I really got to stop saying that out loud.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Lark, do you want to lead the way since it's your baby sis?
Sure. I'll, I guess, start drifting over to the shed and try to kind of scan the horizon, keep my eye out for anything that could give her away in the air.
Mm-hmm. You can make a perception check if you'd like.
What do I add to perception? I think it's just my proficiency bonus. So +3, that's a dirty 20.
All right. You scan the horizon, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of the at least mental image of your sister.
You got anything up there, Lark?
I haven't spotted anything.
Okay, well, I guess let's find out what business she had digging around in Granther's shed. Did you say above game towards the shed or like in the shed?
Towards.
The wards?
Towards. Not
Oh,
into.
towards. Sorry. I heard the wards. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh.
What wards?
No.
I didn't know about any wards. God damn it.
Surprise! I covered this place in glyphs of warding.
God damn it.
No. Yeah, just towards the shed.
Okay.
She
So I
probably
guess
took to the air near the shed, but
yeah.
not went into it.
I guess just for a little flavor, then Jasmine will probably like kind of circle the shed, just sort of sniffing the ground and like disappointedly like give a weird huffy growl. She can't find anything. I got nothing, boys, and I'm the best tracker we've got, so.
Rerek, can you do any sort? I'll look at Rerek and ask him, can you, I don't know, find her or locate her or whatever? You have magical vision, right?
I can only do it within 1,000 feet. And who knows how far away she is.
Right. Lame.
Thinking, well, at least with what information we have now, I don't know if we're finding her today.
I have a feeling she's going to cross our path one way or another. I mean, an unholy, gigantic fairy on the loose who, by the way, let's not forget, is named Panic. That just can't be great. Can't bode well. Okay, so then what? Do we just like leave her floating about here, causing fates only know what sort of untold chaos while we, I don't know, do what? Just leisurely stroll back to the Night Queen's kingdom?
I mean, if nobody has a better idea, I suppose that would work. Part of me is concerned and a part of me is curious.
Curious, I'm sure. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. But at this point, I'm not sure what we can do about her. Perhaps, does Granther have any? Well, he doesn't care. I was going to say, does Granther have any way of potentially locating her? But he doesn't give an absolute shit.
Probably not. Or maybe. I don't know. He's not exactly the doting sort.
I hadn't gathered. You know, I thought I had a fucked up childhood, you know, with the whole everyone I know and love dying in flames thing, but you had it pretty weird.
I mean, childhoods are relative as well. I haven't really aged since I popped out of the flower. I've pretty much looked like this my whole life.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try to get over that. It's not weird at all. Okay, so then how do we find Her Majesty?
And I suppose if we went to the edge of the garden and pressed onward, we'd pass into her domain.
Fair enough. Then, unless anybody's got any better ideas, I would absolutely love to get this errand over with and get out of Her Eminent Darkness's den.
Let's get on the road then.
It's not like we don't have more pressing matters, you know, what with the end of the world being so nigh and everything.
So you head onward through the garden. You do see a few flits here and there of what might be other little fairies, but they quickly vanish, as well as maybe the bob of a red cap running along, but it seems they've all been scared away. It's not long until you reach the edge of the garden with another gate that creaks and swings open on its own as if by the wind, and back off into the dark forest. The tree branches hang low, brushing over the tops of your heads as you continue walking down the long, gravelly dirt path until you reach a clearing with small mounds, not tiny, but not hill-like, as well as A-frame houses with the roofs not covered with shingles, but covered with grasses and dirt. It seems a pretty sizable village, And standing in a bit of a circle in the center of town are a bunch of what appear to be rabbit people, all staring at something.
Can I history check to see if I know where we are?
Yes, you may.
Perception check for Arthur, keen smell for Jazz.
Yes.
14.
You've kind of heard of this place. It's a place called Clover Hill. It was part of Titania's domain for a long time, until the mayor of the town made a deal with the Queen of Air and Darkness that went a bit south, and she took the village as payment. So the village now resides here, or at least you heard it resided nearby. So this is probably Clover Hill.
17 for Arthur, 10 for Jazz.
So at 17, you do see the people are standing back a little from whatever it is, giving enough space for something, but they're clearly all interested. Jasmine smells blood.
So I guess in her weird, like cat-like way, she'll kind of do that thing where she looks up at me and growls a little bit. And I'll let the party know there's blood, quite a bit. And I'm assuming coming from the general direction of like what these people are staring at.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're in Clover Hill, which was a prize, a feather in the cap of the queen at some point, because their mayor made a bargain that he couldn't deliver on, so their entire village was absorbed into our own.
Gotta love Feywild jingoism, huh?
All right. Should we investigate?
I do love the scent of blood.
I would really rather you not have said that, but yeah, sure. Why the hell not? I'm gonna go ahead and draw my bow since it was still stashed from our last battle.
Is your camera running
I
out
don't
of
know what is
battery?
happening. My camera's plugged into my computer. It shouldn't be able to run out of battery.
Oh dear.
I don't know what's happening.
Oh wait, how long has it been since our like red cap fight?
Probably not very long.
Not very long.
Dewey's following us still.
Oh my god.
Oh
There's
God, why?
there's a skeleton with like a crown of thorns and also the same flowers that Lark always grows all the time, just like the zombie are growing up through it in clumps. They're the only living thing on it. Everything else is like his elder cross is a bunch of like antlers with dead leaves coming off of it. Yeah, Dewey's here still.
You know, I'm gonna blame the fact that Jasmine can't smell shit on Dewey because he's just that potent. Like you're really messing with my scent game here.
I mean,
Kind of hard to track things next to a rotting corpse.
oh, he's a skeleton, and he's not even. Are you even here, Dewey?
He does kind of answer with a and kind of a cracking and clacking of his jaw.
He's moldy and gross, and he does that like all the time.
I mean, sounds like when he was alive still, too.
Oh, and he went there. Okay, let's find out what the dead thing is.
Can I fly to the nearest rabbit folk
Uh-huh.
and just be like, pardon, darling, what's going on?
It seems like one of us was attacked.
Oh, did anyone? I'll motion the boys forward and be like, one of you was attacked, was it?
Yes, something with claws.
Above game, is this happening in Sylvan or are you speaking in Common?
Is it Sylvan or Common?
What did you address them with?
Probably Sylvan.
Then it's in Sylvan. They speak Sylvan.
In Sylvan, I'll ask, do you speak Common?
Oh, yes, we all do.
Yes, unfortunately, my entourage doesn't speak our tongue. They didn't bother learning it before we came here.
Oh,
Of which you keep reminding us.
Oh, but you guys haven't heard any of this at all. Or the times I call you morons, idiots, or anything else.
Yeah, but you do get that weird look on your face. Okay, and never mind.
So, yeah, I'll switch to Common and be like, let's speak in this so they can understand us. So, one of you was murdered, brutalized, ripped asunder.
Attacked.
Right.
I think she's still alive.
Oh, Percy,
Percy?
go patch the thing up.
Right? Okay. Well, can I see the victim?
Okay. And this rabbit folk kind of reaches out and she begins to kind of say in Sylvan, excuse me, please move aside, and things like that as you come up. And there is already a rabbit folk squatting down on the ground near this other rabbit who appears to be convulsing on the ground. There are huge claw marks and what appears to be almost a bite taken out of their face. There is blood everywhere, and they're just occasionally convulsing, just going, and there's still blood just pooling as this alchemist rabbit is trying to put stuff on the wound, put stuff in the wound to try and close it up, doing alchemist things, but it seems like nothing's working.
Buff game, how do I feel like this turned into an episode of Law and Order? But in character, Arthur will probably just kind of motion to Jazz for her to stay back a little bit, like so not to scare any of the nice little rabbit people.
Percy, can you handle that?
I see what I can do, and I'll kneel down and do a medicine check, I guess, to just discern what has happened, and also maybe to see what this alchemist is doing, and if I'm just gonna get in her way if I try to get my way in there.
Sure, you can do a medicine check.
Can I give him the help action by just having Lark like float over his shoulder and be like, "Come on, Percy, this is what you're theoretically good at." Just some gentle
Sure, I will give you that.
I rolled quite high.
Wow.
Medicine. It's gonna be a 25.
That wasn't bitchy at all.
Yeah, so there's definitely some very deep gashes that have basically almost bisected this poor little rabbit, as well as, of course, the bite taken out of her face. The amount of blood that's on the ground, you're good enough to know at this point the blood should be coagulating. The flow should be slowing. It's not.
Okay.
Also, her size, she's getting dangerously close to the amount of blood where there's nothing you can do. The medicine woman seems to have this pouch full of this like lime green moss with little white flowers that she seems to be putting into her mouth by the clump full, chewing it, spitting it, and kind of it makes this paste that she's smearing into the wound. You have no idea what this plant is.
Okay.
But you've seen similar sort of a similar concept being used by various alchemists and healers and other things. You probably are aware of some mosses and things like that can do that. If you chew it into a paste or grind it into a paste, you can smear it on like a rash. It's kind of a poultice in a sense, but it's with an unknown plant. Theoretically, the way she's applying it, it should be helping the blood coagulating, and once again, it is not. It is just continuing to gush out of this rabbit.
Fun. 1 second, let me.
I thought you were supposed to be a healer or something. I love how we're all just standing here, like,
Spell.
watching this rabbit person, like, bleed out as we're like, yeah, I hope Percy can do it.
So is it okay? I'm thinking of maybe casting one spell that I haven't before. But she's not dead or making death saves or anything.
You don't know.
Okay.
She does seem to be convulsing, and blood still seems to be flowing out of her.
Can it?
Would magical
Sounds-
healing help her, Percy?
Yeah, I guess I'll just try a regular level 1 cure wounds to see if that improves things at all.
Yeah, you reach out with the magic and it flows out of your hands and doesn't touch anything. It's like the magic goes right through her as if she's not there. And that spell slot is expended.
Yeah. Can I don't make an Arcana check or something to see if what sort of magic effect that is? Because I do have both Dispel Magic and Remove Curse. So do I think one of those would help?
You can make an Arcana check.
Sure. Oh, I rolled very high again. And I have a plus, so it's 21.
I mean, you're not exactly sure. It could be a poison that's done this. It could be magic. It could be a lot of things. You're not sure what it is.
Okay.
All right, so can someone just kill it? Because this is just sort of sad.
Can I ask the alchemist, what is the, excuse me, what is, do you know exactly what is causing her to be unable to heal? What is it? Poison? Is it a magical effect?
Well, I have no clue. The bleeding just won't stop, and she's just smearing. I've tried everything.
Right. Okay, I might try one last thing.
At this point, she does kind of go, I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to try this. And she pulls out what appears to be the tip of a wrought iron fence.
Called it.
And she also pulls out a little clump of hay, puts it on the ground, pulls out a tinder and strikes it a couple of times, causing the hay to begin to burn, and begins to put the wrought iron fence tip into it until it begins to glow red hot. And then just says, I'm so sorry. And starts trying to cauterize the wound. Surprisingly, the wound does not cauterize. It just breaks back open and blood continues gushing out of it as she continues and then puts it back in the flame and then but nothing seems to be working.
Percy, darling, your brand of magic didn't work to help her, but do you think mine might?
I don't even know what that means.
Let's just say I've recently gained... I'm not like you and Rerek, where I study or pray for my powers. Most of them just manifest, and I picked up a trick that Granther used to do if we angered him too much or if too many redcaps were around, and it can heal her, maybe, if enough people around her are willing to chip in.
Okay, I'm out. I don't like the sound of whatever that is.
What does chip in mean?
Just a little bit of their life force.
That was pretty obvious.
And then you give it to her?
Yes, but anyone who's too close to her is going to feel the negative effects of the spell.
Deuces.
I look down at this poor rabbit that's probably only a minute away from being dead. Try it. Just try.
In Sylvan, I'm going to call out to the crowd and be like, will any of you try to save this girl's life.
The rabbits kind of like look around at each other, and a few of them are kind of like, what do you need?
Well, just gather around her and be prepared for a little bit of pain.
Like two of them step forward and the rest of them kind of step back.
I'll look at the alchemist and be like, if you don't want this, you should probably also move.
At this point, I'm willing to try anything.
All right, let me look up this spell, and I don't know if they can willingly fail or not, because I'm warning them before. But I'm going to cast Wither and Bloom.
Okay.
Okay, why isn't this loading? Wither and Bloom. Here we go. So yeah, I'm gonna have them all cluster around the like half dead one.
Mm-hmm.
That's come on, D&D Beyond, load.
I do have it here.
Okay, so they need to make, I think it's a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna say you've given them enough warning and they aren't in combat.
Okay.
So they can just willingly fail to save.
Okay, so how much, what do I roll for damage?
I think it's 2d6.
Okay. Yeah. So they're each gonna take 5 necrotic damage.
And then it can roll one of its unspent hit dice, which is dumb. It should be a different thing. And then regain a number of hit points equal to your roll plus your spellcasting ability modifier. But I'm going to tell you now, nothing happens.
Okay.
The rabbits do take damage. The grass in the area withers and dies. She's still bleeding out. At this point, you've tried so much, you do see the blood begin to slow, but it seems to be slowing more because there's not a lot left in the body. And she kind of...
Okay. I said somebody should have just killed it. Her, sorry. I don't know what her gender pronouns are.
That's a girl.
I'm sorry, there's really not much we could have done, it seems.
Well, now she's dead. I mean, there's other things.
Can't you speak to the dead, Percy?
Yes. Maybe we give these people a chance to return to their homes or something before we recall this rabbit's lost soul into its corpse.
Desecrate a corpse. It's okay. You can say what it is. Desecrate a corpse. Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time today.
Well, I'll look again to the alchemists and say, do you have any idea what happened?
No, I just heard screaming. Her screaming and another scream, and then this.
Above game, does Rerek have anything that like he could see, like maybe get a vision of like what happened here or something?
Actually, I'm going to give him at some point, he will have cast Identify.
Mm-hmm.
He has a mirror of the past. And I am going to quickly grab the book that it's in so I know exactly what it does. Where are you, book that I need? I didn't think I was going to need this one for some time, but
Damn those crazy players.
I know, right? Mirror of the past. Okay. So Rerek pulls out the mirror that he pulled off of the carousel, and he goes, I think I have something that might work. And he takes the mirror and he aims it so that the reflection of this rabbit's dead face appears in the mirror for a moment. And then you hear the carousel music very faintly. And very faintly, the lights of the carousel begin to flicker across the gilded wood of the mirror. And as you guys look into it, you see flashes of things, cryptic and strange. You see a bunch of rabbits planting and gardening. You see a dinner table covered in root vegetables and salads and various leafy greens. You see blankets and pillows. You see just little snippets of a quiet sort of pastoral life. And then you just hear the scream, the two screams together, and the sound of blood splattering across the ground. And that's it. The mirror goes dark, back to its normal state. The dead, slack face of the rabbit folk appearing in the mirror once again as she lays on the ground.
So we didn't see what killed her?
Mm-mm.
Awesome. Well, it was worth a shot. Thanks, Scaly Tits.
Do we think she saw what killed her?
We heard another scream though, right? That wasn't
Yes.
hers?
That wasn't hers.
Lark's just gonna be like, I've got an idea. I probably shouldn't voice aloud.
And yet I feel like they're going to.
How many rabbit folk are around us?
Oh, God.
Some of them are still gathered. Others of them have kind of begin to mosey their way back, knowing that whoever this is dead now. And there's not much that they can
Percy's
do.
saying some like prayers over the body and sprinkling some oils.
What part of your gods have no power here are you not getting, Percy?
Just want to
Core concept.
honor her death. Like,
We have our own death processes here. She could wind up in the garden, or I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be pretty weird for you if some rabbit folk just showed up at your church and started performing whatever their version of last rites is on one of your dead citizens.
I don't see anyone else moving her or anything.
I'm just going to float this out there that we heard another woman scream before the scream of the dead rabbit. So...
There's another victim.
Oh, not another victim, darling. Granther said that he gave her her name because she was screaming when she was born.
Oh.
I think your sister did this.
Probably. I mean,
Can I
there's
try another
couple-
keen smell?
Yes, you may.
Because, like, she smelled the flower, so I see where you're going with this, Lark. 16?
Yeah, I'd say that's enough. Yeah. You smell what
Okay.
you think panic smells like around this
So,
corpse.
I guess sort of like in character, I would have like, said, okay, Lark, I see where you're going with this. And then like, subconsciously communicated to Jazz to go over there. She kind of pads around the body a little bit and then like gets sort of upset, this weird little growl, and I just kind of like look at Lark, like affirmatively but silently.
Freshly bloomed and already has her first kill under her belt. Not bad.
Yeah.
What does it mean that she's just born and can already do that? Like, make it so that she's completely unable to be healed. What is that?
Well, I mean,
I believe I recall using the phrase unholy chaos.
unholy to you, perhaps, but perhaps she was born with different tricks than me and my other siblings were.
Like slaughter?
Can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Well,
Okay.
can you track her scent from here, or has she disappeared again?
I mean, I can try. Do you want me to roll again?
No. It does seem like she has flown away again.
Okay. Yeah. No, she's flown off. It seems like she pretty much just stopped, attacked, and then left.
Well, I guess we just press forward and encounter her next victim, then?
Yeah, more than likely.
I mean,
Do I have like even a general direction? Like she flew off to this way or to that way?
It seems like just from the little whiffs that are still left, she came in almost the road passes by the village, but it seems she came almost as the crow flies directly towards this spot and then flew off in the same general direction, heading not parallel to the road, but in the same direction that the road is heading.
All right, so it seems like, and Jazz is still kind of like scenting the air, like opening her mouth. It seems like she sort of flew in straight from the garden, and I don't know, this almost seems just like she saw an opportunity and took it, because she just sort of kept flying in the same direction as soon as the attack was over. It's almost like she saw a living creature and immediately went berserk, and then once the kill was over, just kept on going. She's headed in sort of the same general direction as the road. So, I mean, my guess would be that if we continue traveling the path, we're either going to run into her or another one of her unfortunate victims.
I mean, you say unfortunate, I say she's a growing girl and needs her meat. But
That's great.
I mean, Prank Rumor and I weren't half as feral when we bloomed, but she's going probably with just her natural instincts. And she's far larger and more prone to biting and clawing people than we were.
Yeah, I had noticed.
I'm curious and, like I said, a little concerned for her. The garden, we're not exactly... Our names come from what Granther can see of your potential and how you act when you first bloom. And a name like Panic, is she going to inspire panic, or is she going to live her own life in panic? Either way is dangerous to her.
Yeah, she's definitely the one I'm concerned about right now.
Yeah. Well, shall we?
There's nothing else we can do here. We may as well just leave these poor folk to grieve their loss.
I'll fly above as we travel so that she doesn't get the drop on anyone.
There.
If she's still in the forest. And if she is running mostly on instinct. Though I suppose if she's running on instinct and she likes to feed off of chaos, attacking a village full of rabbit folk, not a bad idea. They grow up
Yeah.
so fast.
Okay.
It would seem that way. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm just gonna start walking.
At this
Gaily
point,
forward, then.
as you all begin to leave, you do see the alchemist does come back out, and she does begin to she has like almost a blanket that she lays over the body, almost like a funeral shroud, and kind of begins to tuck it underneath as you see some of the other rabbits come up and begin to do that as well. Other rabbits come out and they have these drums and they begin to beat these drums as the 3 or 4 rabbits pick up this body. And some of the other rabbits, as you leave, they are kind of stomping their feet on the ground to that beat, as it seems that they are now holding a funeral for her and giving her her last rites in whatever strange way these rabbit folk do. But you eventually get on the road and continue moving into this dark and ominous forest, leaving the drumming rabbits behind. The trees close back in on either side. It is very hard to fly very high on this road. Flying high gets you in the branches and you look down to see the leaves covering the road. Barely able to see your companions. You can follow them still, but it is patchy and there are places where you might lose them as well.
So you're saying I may not want to fly that high?
You may not want to fly that high. It doesn't mean that you can't fly high. It's just not as high as you might have hoped.
I'll fly just underneath the canopy then. Or whatever, just high enough that I can still, that I'm high, but that I can still keep a clear eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does matter, I do have like extra special dark vision.
Yes.
Because I got a piece of the Shadowfell stuck in my soul at some point.
Yep. Yes,
Yeah,
you do have that nice 120-foot dark vision. And as you continue walking, Lark, this place, you know you've never been here, but there's a familiarity to this place, similar to the garden, but you know that you've never been here before. This is an entirely new place to you. You've never been to the castle of the Queen of Air and Darkness, but this is definitely the realm that it is in. And soon the pathway, the trees clear away from the pathway to reveal a huge castle, which does seem to be a lot like a cathedral in its architecture. Gargoyles and parapets and towers of various types, stained glass windows in all of its strange and sort of dark glory on a pillar of stone in the middle of what appears to be a long canyon that begins about here. And crossing that canyon to get to the castle is over a large stone bridge.
Look, boys, we've made it.
Well, if it weren't so ominous, it'd be kind of majestic.
Why does being majestic and ominous need to be mutually exclusive?
I don't feel that I should have to explain that.
Things can be terrific and terrifying at the same time.
Well, she's expecting us now, isn't she?
Yeah.
And sure, she already knows we're here.
Yes. That, and she pretty much gave us the shortcut to get here by telling us to pass through the garden as it was, so hop hop, boys. Get those little meat legs.
We're not doing that. No. I will walk, but because I choose to do so. And also because my life maybe depends on it. But anyway, that's not the point. Let's just go.
The walk across the bridge somehow seems ever so slightly longer than it should, almost as if space seems to be expanding as you cross this dark stone bridge. And as you get to the base of this castle, this huge, ominous door stands ever so slightly ajar. The shadows, they seem more vibrant in a way. There's more color, but yet they're much, much darker. And they seem to be everywhere, in every nook and cranny. And you swear out of the corner of your eyes, they move and shift. But the door, as vast as it is, seems to be open. And as you walk just inside, waiting for you are 3 individuals. One is a hedgehog in a suit of armor. The other is another rabbit folk, seemingly wearing a jester outfit with a chain, with an iron collar around his neck, chained to 2 manacles as he stands there. And the third is a very dapper looking butler with white gloves on, but they're very clearly maybe a gnoll, maybe some kind of dog. No one, it's hard to tell. It's clearly some kind of feral dog person, but they are, all 3 of them are standing in the hallway. The rabbit hops forward a little bit, its chains jangling, and it addresses you all in Sylvan. I see you have arrived. The queen wishes to see you immediately in the throne room.
Lark, what did he say?
Oh, the queen wishes to see us in the throne room.
Oh.
Immediately. Post haste.
Well, then I suppose it prudent that we make haste.
Can you take us to the throne room?
Yeah.
Yes, we will take you. And he turns and begins to hop down the hallway towards a very grand set of stairs. This foyer is almost just a hall in itself, column upon column, candelabras everywhere, and even candles on the floor. And you notice that the flames are this kind of bluish color, and they burn very low, not really giving much light. As you pass the hedgehog takes up the rear, its armor clanking as it walks behind you, the rabbit jangling as it's jumping in front of you. And the dog butler seems to dart off to a door on the side and duck in, quickly closing it. And they take you up the stairs. In fact, up about 2 flights of stairs and down a very, very long hallway. And Arthur and Percy, you definitely notice a lot of Gothian architecture here. The way that the stained glass windows are structured, the style of the moldings and crownings, the style of the patterns in the carpet and the patterns on the wallpaper. It's almost as if it were Gothian architecture filtered through whatever strange fey perceptions of reality or your reality it is. It's almost, in a strange way, a Disney Epcot's Outsiders version of Gothian architecture. It still has that very obvious fairy twist that isn't going to offset any fey, but it's clearly inspired by the architecture that you grew up around and are familiar with, which is kind of a bit offsetting. But they finally lead you to a very large room. Obviously, the throne room. Most of the throne room is filled with vines, with thorns and leaves on them. These dark blue flowers blooming, motes of light floating in the air that seem to be possibly will-o'-the-wisps, but they seem to zip harmlessly around. And at the very back, both Lark and Arthur would recognize the incredibly tall figure with black hair in the black dress, sitting back to you all in front of a very large mirror, but you don't see her reflection in it.
Okay, let's say that I've already made the wise decision to stow my bow when we got to the castle, and I'm just going to have Arthur say absolutely nothing. He's going to just kneel, like one knee, and Jazz will just kind of like lay down beside him and just wait.
Lark's going to do something he very rarely does and land on the ground and bow. Or I even guess just like landing is probably a fairy bow. Like if you respect someone enough to not be flying around them. I don't know. But yeah, he's going to land.
In some way, yes. There's probably still a sort of hand gesture, like for a person who would like to present as a gentleman, having one hand on their stomach, the other on their back, and kind of tilting their head forward a little bit to kind of signify a bow, but landing would, on top of that, would be enough. You do not have to like touch your forehead to the ground or kneel or anything like that. I would say that's probably what flying fae who fly all the time would do.
Yeah, because Lark like never willingly lands.
Mm-hmm.
Human person.
Oh yeah, I do a little bow.
Rerek also kind of confusedly kind of bows a little bit. And this gigantic woman stands up from her chair, and you do get to see her full height. It is very tall. If you didn't know any better, you might have mistaken her for a giant. And for the first time, she turns, and you see her face. It is very elvish, very high cheekbones, very gaunt face, thin lips, very dark eyes. And she steeples her fingers as she takes a couple of steps towards the group of you and just says, "Ah, I see you've arrived. Welcome to my palace. I hope you found the journey pleasant, at least."
Lark.
My lady, of course, the journey was. He's speaking in Sylvan at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Was she speaking in Common or Sylvan to the group?
She was speaking in Common.
Oh. In Sylvan, he'll just be like, the journey was as effortless as could be. A little annoying here and there, but. And then he'll switch back to Common. We made it relatively unmolested, and even sorted out the problem of the Hag Coven 2 domains down. Nasty little situation they found themselves in, but now we've made allies of one of the oldest covens in the Feywild, so that's a boon.
Good. I expected, at least. Well, we all know why we are here. So how about we conclude our business? And she just stretches out her hand.
Does Rerek have did we stick it in his bag?
Yeah, we stuck the flower in his bag.
Okay.
So yeah, Rerek gets his bag off, and you pull out the blue rose.
Wait, me? Arthur?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'll I don't know. I mean, maybe stand up and walk over to her hand because I'm assuming it's not directly in front of my face.
Mm-mm.
Just like place it gently, still head bowed, like not saying anything, just not crazy, just like, down a bit.
Yeah. She takes the rose and she kind of smells it a bit. Ah, well, seems our business is concluded. I will have this taken where it needs to be. And she just stretches out her hand and a portal appears and a long gangly hand comes out, grabs the rose and back into the portal before it closes.
Okay. It's not creepy at all. Try not to react to that.
Well,
My lady, if it would also please you, I managed to acquire some seeds from the Great Pumpkin, if you'd any interest in those.
I will certainly not refuse them.
Yeah, so Lark's going to give her the last 2 seeds he collected.
And she does take them and kind of hold them in her hand. Ah, lovely. I will have these added to my collection. And she reaches out and the same portal appears and 2 more hands come out and take the seeds and pull them back through the portal before it closes. Well, unless you have any other gifts to give me, I shall make sure that you are safely returned to the material plane, as I understand that you have business there, important business.
Well, I have the greatest gift of them all, my queen. Information.
Yes.
Samantha, the Bear King's little minion. We managed while we were in, God, what was that?
Gloriana's palace.
Gloriana, yeah. While we were in Gloriana's garden, we managed to overhear that a package was being delivered from the Bear King to an ally of sorts, and it was very hush-hush, so just so you're aware, some intrigue is going on, at least from some of the animal Archfey, which could or could not be pertinent, or it could just be some gossip. And other than that, I have a new sister.
Oh.
She may have flown directly into your domain. She was moving in this path.
Well, I will keep an eye out for her.
Granther's named her Panic, so...
What a lovely name.
She was terrifying Clover Hill right before we got here.
Well, I'm sure they will recover. And she turns and she picks up a small vial. Before you all leave, or before I send you on your way, the flower that was delivered to me, that had a drop of your blood, I believe, Cleric, inside of it.
Oh, wow, that was so long ago. Yes? It was. Did you figure out what it was?
It seems your family indeed has been messing with things far beyond what my powers even stretch to. And she holds up the vial, and there isn't a flower in it. There's just ash. This is what your blood did to the flower.
My blood killed a flower?
So it seems. Bitter blooms are very hard to kill once they've grown. And it seems that This one had the assistance of magic. They are very hard to destroy, and yet your blood managed it.
I don't know what that means.
It means that you are probably in farther over your heads than you think. There is much more at stake than you might believe. I'm sure you already know that, but if this is any indicator, let's put it this way. If it wasn't within my vested interest to not have the Feywild be destroyed by the apparent collapse of the material plane, I would have dispatched people to destroy you.
Well, thanks for not doing that.
Well, since it is within my vested interest for all of you to stay alive and for you to figure out what is happening here and stop it, because it seems I do not have the power to stretch that far, I'm going to return you to the material plane post-haste.
Your graciousness knows no bounds.
Indeed. However, time in the Feywild is a bit strange. And it seems that some time has passed on the material plane. However, I can tweak how much time has passed.
Oh,
At this moment, if you left the Feywild, you could return to the material plane anytime between a week from when you left to 1 month from when you left. I will allow you to choose when you return, and then I shall return you there. Of course, since I am returning you, you will not suffer any of the side effects. Hopping from kingdom to kingdom in such a short period of time, returning to the Feywild, returning to the material plane, is like somebody deep underwater returning to the surface too quickly. A variety of things can happen. This is the safest option. So I will give you a moment to choose when you wish to return.
Percy, you want to take this one?
just as soon as possible, right? That's the best option. As quickly as possible.
It's your sister.
Yeah. So one week. We're good with one. Everyone's good for 1 week. 1 week would be perfect.
Wonderful.
In Sylvan, Lark's just gonna be like, my queen. Also, the Dragonborn over there has the eyes of a seer, and a good part of this prophecy seems to be circulating around Percy's sister, who is currently being watched by astral cats that no one can actually see, so I don't know if it would be pertinent or not for you to put a tail on her as well. Just something to be aware of, I suppose. She may or may not be the key to stopping everything or causing everything to happen.
She does return in Sylvan. What would make you believe that I already have not?
I was just wanted to make sure that everyone... My lady, is someone else double-checking my work? I thought I was doing so well.
In times like this, it is better to be safe.
And what would you have me do, my queen? Shall I go to...
Continue to help. Continue to give your assistance. The sooner we figure out what is going on, the sooner the Feywild will be safe.
No, not a thumbs up, but
Just thumbs up the queen.
Yeah, maybe not.
Lark will do his little bow again, and just in Sylvan, just as you command.
Good.
Arthur, I guess, in parting, will say something like, we await your hospitality come the Waltz of Shadows. And like another little bow, Jasmine does the same thing, like down little head.
Indeed.
Thanks for not smiting me.
Yes. Well,
Humans.
if that is all, then I shall return you. And she takes her cloak and she swirls it and seems to transform into this huge whirlwind of shadows that then envelops you all entirely. And for a moment, you feel that sensation of being launched forward through the darkness. And you all seem to trip and fall down to the ground. And the scenery reappears. And you recognize this place. This place seems to be not far from the shovel and spade. And as you look more to one side, there it is, standing at the corner of the road, close to the city. You are in the Gravediggers training grounds.
Oh, thanks the fates, ale. That's all Arthur can think about. He sees the shovel and spade and he's just like, booze.
We're finally out of there. How about we try to stay on this plane of existence for a little while?
Back on the
Where there's
material plane. Yay.
Oh, don't sound so excited about it, Lark.
Well, can get you a drink to slake your thirsts, but I do want to check in with my family before I should probably just beeline it towards the house as quickly as possible.
You mind if we just meet you back at your family manor then? Because I'm gonna check in with Franklin.
Yeah, go for it. We can go together, or if you can if there's like a solo mission, you can go do that.
Oh, it's up to you. I was just pointing out the fact that I'm going to go get a drink. It wasn't really a question.
When did we schedule our armor and stuff to get picked up? Was that 1 week, or is it longer than 1 week?
I think it was
Actually, don't
around
remember.
1 week. Somewhere around 1 week.
Okay, so it would be reasonable to drop back by and see if we can pick it up.
Probably.
Yeah. More than likely.
Wonderful.
But more pressing matters first, obviously.
Of course.
All right. Start walking towards the tavern, bar, shovel and spade thing. Lark, I'm sorry, you did a little thing there.
Lark's just gonna be like, oh, Percy, you really must be careful. Svetlana will smell the other people on you that you've been making out with.
Yes, I'm sure she'll be devastated.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you make your way to the shovel and spade that seems to be eternally as you left it. The red windows, the black wood, the faint smell of blood spilled, and definitely a ton of alcohol.
I'm home. I guess as we get in the door, I'll just kind of... Who's working the bar?
At this point, probably Franklin.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just kind of hold up two fingers, like he knows.
Yeah, and he kind of nods and instantly starts pouring steins. And he comes over and sets the two steins on the table. Is there going to be anything else?
Yeah,
Oh,
what have
I'll
you
get
got
one.
for us poor mortals to eat? Oh yeah, and one for him.
All right. I mean, I think there's a stew today.
Sounds divine. And one for Jasmine as well, please.
Yeah, of course.
I'll do a stew as well. Then.
Hmm.
No faces for you tonight, Lark?
I've never even mentioned eating faces. I don't know where you seem to have gotten that idea from.
Oh yeah, sure. What happens in the Feywild stays in the Feywild, huh?
Yeah.
Lovely. That'll be all then.
Right. I'll go and grab it.
Thank you.
And he runs to the back to get the stew.
I think Arthur probably just like slams one of the mugs of ale and then just like splats his face down on the table, just like exhausted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, and at that point, he probably realizes not smelling too great under there either. Like face has come near Pitt's area, and we're like, oof.
Yeah, Franklin at this point probably comes back with some stew and puts it down. I'll get another stein. Just a second. And he goes back and starts pouring another one and brings it to you.
Thanks. Whew. Well,
What, 5 gold?
Sure.
Okay, I'll just like hand him some gold pieces. Like,
And he kind of looks at the 5 gold and just nods and walks over to the counter to put it away.
lovely. Oh, okay. At this point, Arthur's probably into his second mug of ale, and just kind of like looks expectantly at Percy. I guess like, all right, we did my thing. So like,
right. Well, 2 planes down. Hopefully there's no more surprises inside of the house that require extra dimensional travel.
one can hope.
I won't be holding my breath over that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't say how surprised I am that things went so uneventfully with the plane.
Well, there were lots of events, but we handled ourselves.
I meant
Effectively.
specifically once we got to her palace. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but I don't know. That just I gather that like this isn't the end of that.
Probably
Not
not.
at all.
Yeah.
And what was the deal with your sister, Lark? What's happening there?
I was hoping we'd run into her so I could try to have a conversation, but Granther's a more shrewd individual than he lets on when you first meet him. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy that old surly bastard as much as I do. He plays himself off as a curmudgeonly old codger that only cares about his flowers, but he manages to find a name in common that best suits each individual he lays eyes on whenever we first bloom. And Panic. And why would she be drawn to the Queen's castle? Though, if her performance at Clover Hill,
Haven't the boggiest.
Yes, if her performance at Clover Hill is any indication, I just wanted to at least warn her that someone was probably going to try using her as a weapon.
If they aren't already.
I mean, that's one of the unfortunate stereotypes of fairies born in the garden. We make the best spies, or not the best, but some of the better spies and assassins and tools for higher fae.
Shock.
Right.
So, I don't know. How
about
did you two like your travels through my home?
Well, they were terrifying. If I never went back again, it'd be too soon. Strangely, it felt
okay.
the Shadowfell was more welcoming.
Oh, okay.
In here, I thought you were bewitched by all the cute little pumpkin and apple folk.
I did quite
I was
enjoy
gonna
the
say
apple
the
folk.
apple people were cute.
They seemed
They
they
were
seemed
fun.
genuinely, good natured. I didn't think they would curse me or whatnot, but
I mean, you never know. A curse, a contract, a binding, a trick, they're all there. I'm rather
Yeah, and I
impressed.
personally won't be engaging in any of them anytime soon.
I am
Thank you
rather
very
impressed
much.
the three of you got out of there without really getting caught in any of them.
Well, we had your wisdom to guide us.
despite your best efforts, Arthur, eating all of that
Three
food.
for three, eating food from other realms, bitch.
You did ignore that bit of advice, but I suppose you lucked out there. And if you
I
think
feel like
about
that's
it,
Arthur's new goal is just to eat something from every realm he visits now. I'm sorry.
we curried favor with, oh God, what was her name?
Hang on.
Oh God, what was her name? I should have written it down. The witch from Hansel and Gretel. Her name in German.
Yeah.
Rosina Lickermall.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
We've curried favor with Auntie Lickermall and her coven, so I'm as pleased as punch with the results there.
Yeah, one
nice
can only imagine how the waltz is going to go now that we have those lovely folk as an escort.
Yes. Oh, each of you with a hag on your arms. I'd be so proud.
Yay. Jasmine probably just as sarcastically like,
well, if we're done with our first earthly meal of the last week,
oh yes,
we'll pick up our purchases from the golden dragon. What's that store called? Dragon? Forget.
The copper cauldron.
The copper cauldron. He just is a dragon.
Yep. Wait, what time of day did we land in?
Yeah, is it an acceptable time to go get it?
It's probably like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Oh God. Yeah, and for us, we've been traveling for almost a whole day now. Because it was just like eternally day and then eternally night. Like we just.
Yeah, it's hard to tell time in the Feywild because the Fey are just like, I like noon time, so it's just going to be noon forever.
Yeah.
So time is very hard to track in the Feywild.
Yeah, I'm a little jet lagged. I don't know what this world's version of jet lagged is, but that.
Yeah. Realm lagged, sure.
Yeah. Realm lagged. Yeah.
Plane lagged.
Plane lag. I like that. Oh, because like.
Yep.
It's like a jet, but also planes. Yeah. In character, I guess I'll say like, yeah. I suppose that's a decent idea as any, but if I don't get a bath anytime soon, I'm going to remain a virgin for the rest of my life.
We could stop by my parents' house for the night. So we'll head back to the inner city.
Mm-hmm. You do head back. You notice as you head through the high street, some of the stores have seemed to have closed permanently in a similar nature to
Madame Drintel's shop.
Yep, the fairy godmother. Yeah. The windows dark, the door blockaded, and it seems a little bit less busy. It's not a busy time, you would know, but there should be more people around, but there just doesn't seem to be.
Is this in the inner city or like on the way?
Inner city. Yeah, this is on the same street that Madame Drintel's shop is on. Oh. But it seems some of the places that you frequent, the Magician's Top Hat and the Copper Cauldron, are all open.
Okay.
As per usual.
Pull up a side plot that I feel like we kind of may have forgotten for a hot minute. Do we still have Rosie with us, or did Rosie stay in the Feywild?
We forgot about Rosie.
We always forget about Rosie. Oh my goodness. I would say if you guys would have liked to, you could have left her with Granther.
Let's say
Is
we
that
did
the plan?
I mean, I would
I
have
think that's
asked
the
if she
plan.
wanted to stay because I feel like Lark wanted Granther to take a look at her to see if he could figure out why
Right, we
she
didn't have him
awakened.
take a look at her.
Well, let's say, I mean, can we communicate with him later? Like something like we dropped her off, like so he could keep an eye on her, and maybe we try to get in touch with him.
I mean, yeah, he can. If he can pick up the flower phone, we can flower the phone home sometimes.
Flower phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, like, Lark definitely made sure that, like, Rosie made her own choice if she wanted to stay
Mhm.
there and be like, I don't know, at one point just like pull her aside before we left the garden and maybe be like, look, Rosie, darling, I don't know anyone better with plants than my grandfather, so if you'd like, you can stay here in the garden and learn all sorts of new tricks. And he'll take better care of you than he did me when I was a child, most likely.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
at that point she probably would have decided to happily stay, especially since there's lots of flowers that, you know, seem to be enchanted in some way. And so, yeah, I think she would want to stay.
And I'd definitely pull him aside and be like, don't let her get killed as easily as some of us were. You like
Okay.
plants more than us, so take good care of her, will you?
Poor
All
Rosie,
right,
she's so
I
cute.
certainly will.
And pick up the damn flower the next time I try sending a message through it to you.
All right, fine. I'll keep an eye out.
Dropping my kids off at summer camp.
Yeah, so you've left Rosie in the Feywild, and you do make your way back to Percy's parents' house. As you walk up to the door, Percy, you notice sitting on one of the posts, the stone posts near the gate, the front gate to your home, is a cat that you've never seen before.
Oh shit.
A hairless sphinx cat with 3 eyes, no mouth, but a jagged maw across its stomach and 2 tails. It floats into the air for a second before doing a somersault and vanishing. None of the rest of you see this.
Do you smell toast or?
I think I just saw a cat.
Well, yeah, she's been traveling with us like the whole time. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bella, I'm just gonna like run into the house.
Yeah.
You okay? Or
So at this point, your dad is probably beginning dinner. Your mom has not come home yet, but Bella does come down the stairs, followed by about 12 cats, all flying through the air.
Oh no.
Percy,
I can see the cats. Why are there so many cats?
Well, a hello would be nice first before you drop that bomb. Jeez.
He's like, oh, they're awful. Oh, why are there so many of them?
There just are.
I'm sorry, you what?
The cat, they're all like, I'm like pointing around. So like,
you can see your sister's invisible cats now.
I guess.
In addition to the voices all up in your head now.
I got a
you
lot
can
going
see-
on. All right.
Well, I mean, the queen did point out that your blood is toxic enough to kill one of the hardiest Fey wildflowers, so...
Somebody remind me again why I'm still hanging out with you guys?
Cursed blood.
Are the cats like Yeah, I know they like, they like fawn around Bella and like do stuff with her. Are they just like still doing that and ignoring me mostly, and I can just see them now, or are they like?
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
you can just see them.
I'm just like, oh, why can I see them now? I don't like that. What changed? Why did that change?
I don't.
At this point, you probably
can't.
would feel a faint sort of pain in your side where that new brand appeared, and as you press your hand against it, the fabric of your shirt gets ever so slightly wet, as if it is still oozing.
Oh.
You showed us that, right?
Yeah, I showed you that.
Yeah, above game. Remind me where that came from again.
One of the aberrations talked to me, and she was like, I am the queen of poxes, let me make a deal with you. And I was like, no. And she was like, here, okay, I'm gonna give you a gross rash now.
I'm gonna cut you then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess is Mom home?
She should be getting home soon.
Okay. Okay. Hi. As I come over and like pull her into a hug, like one arm still like clutching my wound.
Very awkward sibling hug.
Yeah.
Of like, what's going on?
So I'm just still looking at the cats.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Arthur's probably grown impatient with the fuckery, and he's like, you know what? Not today. And he's just gonna head for the whatever passes for a bathing room.
Yeah.
Scrub his tits.
Yeah, you do manage to run a nice hot bath. And there are a lot of scented like perfumes and soaps and things that you get to use.
Jam on.
I'll leave you two to your sibling bonding. Go help with dinner, I suppose.
Right. Okay. It's been like a week, right? Like a week since I left.
Yeah, about that long.
Okay, that's what you said. Is everything okay? Is everything okay right now? Is everything good?
Yeah, I mean, they've been making a few more arrests on the evidence that you all found on Dr. Argenta for trafficking and things like that. But I mean, other than that, the city's been pretty quiet.
What was with all the shops closing down out there?
Oh, yeah, those were owned or in financial something or other with people who were arrested for trafficking charges. There's been a lot of holes that have been left by that. Yeah, there's been a lot of people. Seems there were a lot of rich people that were very, very adamant about getting rid of their humpbacked children in the attic. So there's that.
They're cracking down on that fast, it looks like. We were gone for a week and I feel like half the streets shut down. But and you're doing good, like all the magic and school and stuff.
Yeah, I've been learning a few more little tricks and things like that. Nothing too eventful.
Okay, and nothing weird has happened.
Not yet.
Okay, I don't know. My camera keeps turning off.
I don't know what's with that.
All right. I think I'm just gonna hop in the bath after Arthur's done. It's been a bit of a journey. If I'm still up there when Mom gets back, could you send her up there?
Sure. Is there something specific that you need to talk to her about?
Yeah, I said I said I was gonna be more transparent. Yeah, I just like pull up my shirt and show those like nasty ass like mark.
Saints. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a present from one of the things our family is trapping. Doesn't like us.
Oh.
Very far off, there's just a slight call. A venereal disease.
It is not. I mean, I guess it might be. Actually, I don't know. It's the Queen of Poxes. That's a long story. I don't know.
That sounds gross. Yeah, that sounds like a mom thing. Yeah, you might want to clean that a little more first. I think it's oozing.
Yeah, it's been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, and she just awkwardly scoots around you as you head up the stairs.
Yeah, so once Arthur gets out of there, Percy's gonna go on in and start trying to clean his wound.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out with dinner, right?
Sure, yeah.
Papa
Do I even
Kruetzwald.
know Percy's dad's name?
I have forgotten it, to be honest.
I have it. His name is Howard.
Howard, yes.
So Lark's gonna, like, as this whole conversation out there and Arthur's in the shower, Lark's just gonna drift into the kitchen, maybe use some prestidigitation, just some cantrips to help out here and there, shape water to stir a pot of something or other, and he's gonna be like, you know, Howard, I must admit, I'm very impressed with your children and your decor. Your house is quite beautiful for something on the mortal plane. Shape water, shape water. I couldn't help but notice you're a collector of sorts, aren't you?
I guess you could say that. I work with a lot of different trade companies.
Trade companies, perfect. I just so happen to have some things from back home that I'd really just enjoy getting them out there if you could help me with that, dog.
Not the time for that, Lark, says Arthur.
You're not in the
as he
room,
overhears
Arthur.
it, like, walking down the stairs.
Arthur's not in the room. This is still while people are showering and while people are talking to their sisters. You've left
You're right, I
Lark
probably
alone.
am still in the bath at this point.
So, Howard, darling, would you be a dear and help me get in touch with a few people to get a few things out and about on the market?
Oh, I'm sure. What specific market are you planning on getting into?
Rare and exotic seeds.
Not sure I know many companies that work in that. I typically trade in goods like wines, whiskeys, rugs, cigars,
but
a little bit of furniture here and there.
When you cultivate the flowers, you can make them into all sorts of things.
Well, I'll see if I can get some perhaps perfumers, alcohol makers, maybe.
Oh, a perfumer or alcohol maker with an interest would be simply magnanimous of you. And could you do me a favor, darling, and keep it hush-hush between us? Percy's got his panties in a twist lately about some of my other activities. You know how he can be. You raised him.
Oh my God.
Well, he was always strong-headed, just like his mother, but it seems to be leading him in the right direction, at least.
Yes, but the right direction gets in the way of business sometimes, doesn't it?
It does. Well, I will see what I can do.
Can I make like a persuasion check to make sure he doesn't say anything to them?
Yes, you most certainly may.
Okay. Oh, that's only going to be a 10. I rolled a 2.
All right.
I rolled a 2.
You don't know if he's going to say things or not.
Oh, well. You can't fault me for trying if they find out anyway. It's in my
We absolutely can. We can and will.
I'm going to keep helping
Anyway.
prepare the dinner and be like, you don't have any, like, flesh or skin that we can add to this? Make it a little juicier?
I'm not adding flesh to the stew. Not human flesh, anyway.
Well, it doesn't need to be human. Dwarven flesh can be rather tasty, I hear.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're not going to do that in this household.
Oh, I forgot.
Kind of stick to animals.
Humans are friends, not food on the mortal plane, aren't they?
That's a good adage you should stick by.
Oh my god.
Remember that.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I would say a little later, Percy's mom does get home, and as she walks in and kind of wipes her shoes, she sees, I guess, would Percy have been upstairs in the bath at that point?
Yeah, I think Percy's sort of obsessively like cleaning, without much results, I'm assuming.
Yeah. She kind of gets in and she looks around and she's like, oh, you guys are back. Wonderful. I was wondering when you guys were going to return, and it's nice to see that you all are safe, seeing as how you all went plane hopping. Any interesting news?
I think Percy's got something to show you upstairs.
Oh, all right. I'll head up there. And of course, Percy, you are in the bathroom scrubbing at this wound on your side that the more you scrub, the more it seems to ooze and...
Yeah. This is a very dramatic moment, like he's forcefully scrubbing his medical training really out the window at this point. He's just going at it. The voice is getting louder in his head.
Yeah, they're whispering like, you're marked forever. You won't get it off. Give in. Give in. And they seem to come to this crescendo as you're just scrubbing the skin absolutely raw before the door. Click opens and your mom comes in and the voices just stop, or at least simmer down a little bit.
Yeah.
Your friends told me,
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, you shouldn't be scrubbing it that hard. Oh my
god. Yeah, I know.
Oh, and she starts pulling out things and starts doing like medical treatment on it. It stings a lot. She's using alcohol, I think, like, and
the
rubs
second
and...
like she starts like addressing like alcohol and rub on it, the magic of this mark sort of manifests, and it casts like the shield spell over me really quick. So like out of this mark bubbles up this like gross ooze that just splashes up a shield in front of me before it disappears.
And I'd like to think that it like knocks a few bottles off of the shelf and maybe tips something over, and she backs up. Where did you get that?
I don't know. It was the aberrations were somewhere. The Queen of Poxes. It was in my head, and she said she wanted to make a deal with me about letting something out, or I said no, and then as a punishment, she did this. Stupid aberrations that our family did forever ago. It's oh my god, it hurts so much.
Oh my goodness.
Percy's having an existential crisis upstairs with his mom. Lark's in the living room with Arthur, like occasionally mage
just a little bit of dwarf flesh as a treat.
Yeah. After a while of some silent medical treatment, I would say you guys probably, the two of you probably come downstairs back to see, at this point, Belladonna probably setting the table, Percy's dad and Lark beginning to finish up the meal. Rerek at this point is probably waiting at the table. And I don't know where Arthur would be.
Probably waiting at the table. I like to think like when Percy comes down, Arthur just something like, "Oh, for the love of all that's holy, I didn't think it was possible, but that thing smells even worse. It's like copper and mold. Can you like bind that thing any better or something?"
I think we did the best we could for right
Can I use Druidcraft just to make Percy smell better?
now.
Because Druidcraft is like the cantrip that does smells.
I think prestidigitation does smells too.
Oh,
Which I know you
both of
have
them.
that. So you can, yeah.
I have infinite cantrip power.
Yes. It's very entertaining.
So yeah,
Can't wait
Lark's
till you
just,
somehow figure out how to pick up thaumaturgy.
yeah.
Right.
So Lark's just gonna like I let me try to take care of that and like blow a kiss and just make Percy smell like the garden. Like that particular aroma, a little bit of blood, but a lot of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
And kind of, I've never smelled that flower before.
Oh, they're simply divine, aren't they?
They do smell very nice.
I don't know if divine is the word that I would use.
Unholy, maybe.
Well,
Okay. Feeling a bit better. Stu?
Yeah,
sure.
that'll definitely be nice. And everyone begins to sit down, and as you are all ladling out your bowls of stew, there is a knock at the front door.
Gasp.
No one's expecting company, are they?
I mean, we just got
I mean,
back. So.
we literally just got back, so.
I'll get it, I
Perhaps
guess.
that's my adoring subjects.
Better not be another one of your exes.
Oh, not my exes, darling. They're all dead.
As long as this one's alive, yeah.
And he opens up the door, and you just hear a person from outside just go, is this the residence of Howard Kruetzwald? Yes. Wonderful. And you see two people pull in a box and walk in and just kind of set it in the front hallway. And if you could sign here for it. And you see your dad kind of look over at your mom, and your mom kind of glares at him. And he takes the quill, dips it in a bit of pen, and then signs the paper. And then the person nods and walks out of the room and shuts the door. And of course, at this point, your mom is just sitting there.
Percy just starts laughing. I look at Bella, and I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's good to see some things don't change."
I didn't order anything.
Didn't?
No, I didn't.
Secondary gas?
Well, maybe you forgot about it?
I don't think so. I would have remembered ordering a large package.
Keen smell?
Sure.
Just for shits and gigs. Like, why not, right?
Yeah.
Rerek.
18.
Yeah.
Is it magical? See if it's magical.
And you see him kind of close his eyes and whisper for a second before his eyes open and they glow for a bit. And he looks over the box. No, it's not magical.
Okay.
What was your smell?
Well, that's one thing down. 18.
Yeah, you It smells, the wood, of course, smells like pine. It's just a pine wood crate. But inside of it, there is definitely a smell of bear fur.
Okay, so Jasmine smells. She says big brown bear.
Yes?
We should do so. Samantha said something about a Bear King having a package, right? There's something delivered?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Your business partners don't go all the way to the other planes of existence, do they?
I mean, I don't think they do. And he kind of looks down at the box. I don't think I've ever dealt with this shipping company before. I guess you haven't heard of the shipping company Ursa Regis?
Okay.
We not to be I don't maybe blowing things out of proportion. Maybe we should all get out of the house.
Maybe take a package outside, or just
Well,
set it on
I don't
fire.
want to tamper with
What does Ursa Regis mean to you? I don't understand your mortal dialect.
bear.
Oh.
King. Bear.
Rageous, yes, king. Okay, wow, Bear King. Bear
Oh.
King.
He really is on the nose, isn't
Everybody out. Chop chop.
But I'm still eating my. Okay.
And at this point, we are going to end the episode for this week. So join us next week to see just what might be going on with this mysterious package and what else has gone on in their week of absence. So join us next week to figure that out, and I will see you all in about 5 to 10 minutes.